Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. It's a mini, and I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
Yeah.
I don't usually watch you count up, so I almost Cindy Brady.
Last week was
I almost Cindy Brady the intro because I was so mesmerized by your fingers.
It's so much easier than counting down.
Baton Rouge, Cindy, you know this one.
Was that the question? Was it the capital of Louisiana or something like that? I don't remember that. That's a great trivia question. What did Cindy Brady?
Yeah, Baton Rouge. Yeah.
I guess lock up.
That was
on
the
or
answer to the question that
botch.
Cindy didn't know. Yeah,
because she was being such a bitch because she was going on the show, so she was. Oh,
she was.
Fuck you, Cindy.
She had her hair all pretty and everything. Oh yeah.
Way to knock her down.
So, what K dramas did you watch this week, Brian?
I started a new one. I can't remember the name, but it's
Dojo Momo.
I'm glad a guy who does the podcast every week, he can't take the time out to put it in his phone.
Listen, I see it every day, and I can't remember. For some reason, it just doesn't click.
Hence why I said you should
some
type
of these
it in your
names
phone.
are Clean with a Passion for Now is one of the
everything
names.
that I'm going to mention in the mini podcast is an English show made by English speaking people. Yet I wrote them all down just so I remember what it was.
Yeah.
And you
Listen,
are
I
watching
know I
Korean
have
shows in
notes
Korean.
in there, but I didn't put it in a convenient place to pull it out. So when I go to look for them, I'm
the
like,
notes section.
Why don't you just send it in a text message to yourself? Do it that way, Do
guess
something like that.
I guess
Come
I
on.
could.
It is funny because I just moved my notes tab, the notes folder, to its own, it's just there, right on my phone,
so you
right
get
there.
right
It
to
was
it.
in a folder before, and I always had to
Yeah.
click and then click again.
I have
again.
mine right there
I'm
in
like,
the
why
front,
do I
too.
keep doing that? Why don't I just put it right out there so I know where everything is? And boom,
You have a
there it is.
notes thing like that? Like
I do.
an app?
I have a notes thing on there. I've used it before, but I don't know the name of it. So when I go to look for it, I don't remember. I have no idea what the name of the note thing is.
That's less convenient. That's like naming your porn files like something you're never going to remember what they are. Do people have porn files
Don't look
anymore?
here, Christine.
I started watching The King of Collectibles. It's on Netflix. It's only 6 episodes. It's like a Pawn Stars kind of thing.
Oh, it's that kind of show. I thought it was maybe the Toys That Made Us kind
high-end
of thing.
collectibles. They're one of one cards and stuff
like the
that.
first G.I. Joe kind of thing, or-
No, they break open packs and everything like that.
Oh, so it's that
It
kind
had
of stuff. Okay, yeah,
Jackie
yeah.
Robinson game-worn jersey from 1951 with blood
God damn.
in the
Caused
his
by
blood.
what? hopefully just sliding hard,
Yeah,
not
but
get
that's what
someone
they said.
throwing something at him from the crowd.
So I watched the first 2 episodes of that, and it's pretty cool. It ends on a cliffhanger, so you're got to watch the next episode.
Same kind of concept though. It's like a pawn.
It's not a pawn shop.
Shop.
It's a Ken Golden, and they do auctions.
Oh,
It's an
okay.
auction house.
Okay,
so
that's kind of fun.
It's pretty cool. I'm liking it. It's only 6 episodes. They had Drake. He opened up a pack of 19 whatever Jordan's rookie was. 85.
84.
He opened up a pack of those, so he was going through them, and he got one card. It was like a 50,000. He got a $360,000 Jordan rookie card
Just by opening a random pack.
up the random packs. It was a box. They had a full box of them, and they were opening up all the packs.
Did they
in that
tell you
box.
how much you had to pay for the box?
The guy,
Because I think
the
those
guy
are jacked up
it was,
in
it
price.
was like a
just 'cause of the-
$15,000 box.
Yeah, just the fact that you could get a Jordan there. I'm sure
Yeah.
the boxes are.
It's like a $15,000 box.
Not that
yeah.
it's just. I mean, Barkley's in that, and Hakeem Olajuwon's in that, so you have a chance to get
Sam
in all those-
Bowie.
yes, Lesser John Stockton.
Merlin Tipton.
I think Jason interrupted your Korean show. So should I just go
I
now?
finally
He gave up. He said he didn't know.
I'll just
I
go.
remembered the name
Oh, good.
because this is my first life.
Because this is my first life.
I saw that. I didn't.
I don't think you did.
I didn't.
The girls are cute in it, though.
I bet. I
Are
bet a
they
lot of those
of age or
K-dramas
not?
have.
Yeah, they're 30.
Oh my God, they're old ladies.
Yeah.
I watched Cocaine Bear this weekend. Actually, I watched it Tuesday night with my
Nice.
mom and my wife.
I saw that a couple weeks ago. I enjoyed it.
It's
yeah.
I finally saw that too.
it's ridiculous. I mean, it was fun. I was never not entertained.
Why don't you ever bring that to the?
Yeah, why didn't you bring that up when you watched it?
I forgot.
Fucking write it in the notes.
Because
I don't know what the notes thing is called on my phone. No, it's probably called notes.
I think it has notes in the name.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those potato phones. It might not have that.
That's true.
Is your phone in Korean? You should learn Korean.
I asked.
It's
him
a
if he was gonna
Korean
learn that.
phone.
Is it what Samsung? Samsung Korean. I liked Cocaine Bear. It was fun.
I thought it was fun, too.
I was saying to you this morning. It's like the first Sharknado. Like, it wasn't so ridiculous. It was kind of ridiculous.
Ridiculous, but not
like when Cocaine Bear
yeah.
3 comes out and, he's like, or she, I guess, is stalking people in New York City, then we'll be like, oh my God. Like, remember when Cocaine Bear was just like a
Once
normal
he teams
movie?
up with Harry and the Hendersons.
But I thought it was fun. I was never not entertained. I was like, this is so crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely a
and
fun movie. I even after I was done, I told my dad, I said, "You want to watch this?" And he said, "Yeah." And my dad, and I told him, "Here, it's on the Apple TV. Give it a go."
I watched it with my mommy, and she was like, "Does it have to be so violent?" I'm like, "Yes, it fucking has to be so violent."
It's not Winnie the Pooh.
Although that new Winnie the Pooh
Although that
movie
looks
looks
interesting
horrifying.
too. I'm waiting for that to
that
come out
does.
on free somewhere, like on Peacock or Paramount. I wanted to say your rant last week on the podcast about having somebody reach out to you on Twitter worked.
It did. I got someone to actually.
He mentioned
tweet
it on
me.
Facebook too, because
Oh, did he really?
my post on Facebook, he said, "I love this episode so much. I messaged Andy on Twitter."
Out of nowhere. This guy, a guy I used to work with, and Jason used to work with years ago, but I guess it was because
Billy's brother.
Billy's.
He is Billy's brother too. It's true.
He does have a Billy brother, yes, but it was just funny that.
So shout out to Mike.
My rant of no one actually using my social media worked.
I talking of Cocaine Bear, I just remembered I watched another movie that you guys watched, I think. Megan.
Yeah, I watched that.
I did not watch that yet.
I watched that. Yeah.
Great.
I thought it was
movie.
fun. Yeah, another fun one. Yeah.
I'll watch
really
it.
like
I
that
feel, that's
movie.
like probably like I'll watch in October, Halloweenish.
You're gonna have a busy Halloween with our stuff too. Don't forget.
I love watching scary movies at Halloween time.
I do too.
and
I'm looking
whether
forward
it's
to it
scary
too
or
much.
not, but like.
But I mean, I
Oh, I
offered
know,
you a
we-
couple movies too that you didn't like. The lift. I thought that looked interesting.
Oh, that looked
The
ridiculous.
elevator one, didn't it?
Yeah, that did look good.
I mean, look.
I wouldn't
Surf
qualify.
2, but
I don't
Surf
think,
2 definitely should do with Eddie Deason.
Okay, that's fine.
That one we should definitely do.
I didn't think Megan was a horror film, though. It was more like
It's
I guess
thriller.
maybe
Suspense.
thriller, techno horror.
There's some
I guess.
horror to it though. Yeah. It's not as horror as Chucky.
No,
It's that Child's Play is a lot more horror than
I guess
Megan.
in a stupid kind of way. I never liked the Chucky movie. I think I watched the first 2 back in the old days and was like, all right, that's stupid.
Yeah,
There's no
I watched
Friday the
it.
13th or Halloween.
I watched the first
man.
2. That was it.
Should I go again? I don't know.
I'll go. I'm halfway through a show I'm watching now. It's on Amazon Prime. Stars Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, Matt Damon, Ben Hufleck. It's called Air. The story of getting Michael Jordan to sign with Nike.
oh, I can't.
Nike's a sneaker company.
popping up on there. Yeah,
And Michael
I
Jordan's a basketball
think
player.
I owned a pair of Nikes once.
It's such a like ridiculous concept
I'm only
that they would
halfway
make a
through it
movie
right now,
about
though,
this, but I actually watched it on Saturday night because it was free on Amazon. I didn't even know that, and just it
I
popped
love
up.
that
I'm
these
like,
movies
oh,
come out
wow,
a lot
okay.
faster now
Yeah.
than they used to. It
I don't
used
know
to
if
be
they're
like months and
this
months
is
and months in
actually
the theater, and then it would come out. But
It's
now
a-
it's like,
Air is actually an Amazon movie. Their name's in the credits, so I guess,
but it was in the theater too.
it was. Yeah. I guess they probably wanted to get like award
Awards,
recognition.
Yeah,
But
Doesn't seem like a Brian movie though.
I don't know.
I mean, they
because
never. Well,
not a lot of basketball.
They,
in
they
it.
show
I mean,
some highlights and stuff like that, but it's mostly boardroom stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to make decisions on who they're going to spend their money on.
But if you're going to do anything with a boardroom, do Succession.
I saw that episode.
That one episode.
You should have saw this last Sunday's episode. Man, watch it tonight.
But yeah, we
You'll
will.
love it.
But I watched all of Air, and I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was
I'm
so
gonna
much
watch the
fun.
rest, yeah.
I really liked it. What else do you got, Brian? Anything?
I know I watched something else,
Oh my
but
God, all right, then I'll just
I
go,
don't
man, because you're
remember.
terrible.
I'm done with my stuff. I didn't.
Oh,
get up
really?
and
Oh, I got a lot
yeah.
of stuff. Then I'll rattle a few off that don't matter. Get Back, the Beatles doc. I watched the second episode finally because
I watched that.
I know, and
yeah.
it was last year. It came out Thanksgiving time last year, and I watched the first one like the first day, and I was like, all right, I got to get back into this, and
You got to get
so-
back
got
into
to
this.
get back into it. So I watched the second episode. That's so great, man. That makes me so want to watch other Beatles docs. I knew Ron Howard had that 8 days a week.
That was a good one too.
and
I watched that one. Yeah,
I want to watch that again. And I watched
there's the George Harrison one.
Yep.
a
George
two-parter.
Harrison. I watched Nature Boy, the Ric Flair
doc?
documentary.
That's good. I saw that
on Apple or on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. Really good. I don't know if you care about that at all, Brian. I'm looking at you. Like
who was it?
Ric Flair, the wrestler, Nature
Oh, I
Boy,
like
Ric Flair.
wrestling. Yeah, I remember Ric Flair.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right, with the
But-
blonde hair.
Yeah. But I was never a big Ric Flair guy back in the day.
Oh,
'cause
I loved Ric
He
Flair,
was
yeah.
NWA and I was WWF because
Yeah.
Macho Man and Andre and all those guys.
It's,
but
they
I
were all
remember,
down in the NWA and the AWA.
But I remember when he moved over to the WWF, how big a deal that was. They made a big deal in the doc about that. I didn't know his kid died at like 21 and shit like that. But it was a good doc.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like one of those all time.
He almost died a couple years
Yeah,
ago. He had
yeah.
a serious health scare.
But the doc was good. It was like
He
you know,
drinks
one
a
of those-
lot.
Oh yeah, they were talking about how like you know one of the women he was like hooking up with because he goes into that how he can't be faithful kind of thing. And they're interviewing his previous wives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just can't be faithful. And like the one that I'm hooking up with, and the girl's like, how many beers do you have? He's like 12. And she's like, oh my God, are you gonna be all right? He's like, that's just the start of the night. And he was already like in his 30s. I mean, it wasn't like a kid. I don't know.
Scotty Hall finally died from that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died a couple years ago.
And
You see who just died the other day? He was 79 though. He lived to be 79, wrestler. Superstar Billy Graham.
oh, did he die?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I kind of
79.
thought he was already dead because he
Yeah.
looked, well, he was old when we were young. So
Mhm. Yeah.
I thought he was like one of those guys that probably died 30 years ago. But I have two other things.
Go for it.
Okay. One is Muppet Mayhem on Disney.
That's a series, right?
It is a
I want
series.
to watch that. Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I watched the first two episodes, and it's a I guess it's a mockumentary type thing, but it's about
Getting
Dr.
the band
Teeth,
together,
Dr.
right?
Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, not getting them back together. They've been together since the start, and they've signed a contract back in like 1977 with whatever record company to make an album, and they've been continuously touring since then.
Nice.
So they never made the album, and the record company's going out of business. And one of the girls that works for the record company is like, well, let's make them make the album. And so she's tracking them down to try to get them into the studio to make an album, and lots of Muppet nonsense ensues.
That sounds fun.
It's very fun. And there's like some cameos, like Tommy Lee, who happens to have mayhem tattooed across his stomach.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, you know, this, I got influenced by Dr. Teeth to get this tattoo and stuff like that. So there's real life cameos in
that's
there and
fun.
stuff like that.
I'm gonna watch
it's
it, yeah.
very funny. I mean, like, it's almost adult. Like, they never show a Muppet taking a bong hit, but they do talk about how, like, they lost a lot of brain cells on that tour. And, you know,
Yeah.
if you're older than 5, you know why they're saying that.
Yeah.
So there's that kind
It's
of
just
stuff.
it could be funny to a kid, and the real reason is funnier
Yeah.
to an adult when they know the real.
And the only
reason
other
behind
thing
it.
I watched was, or not the only other thing, but the only other thing I want to talk about is Silo on Apple TV.
Yeah,
Connor's
Connor keeps
watching
telling
that.
With
me about that, yeah.
Rashida Jones and Rebecca Ferguson from all the Mission Impossible movies and Dune and someone else.
Dune 2 next year. Right?
Someone else big in it. Shit, but it's good. It's like post-apocalypse. There's a silo that everybody's living in, and when they say silo, it is a gigantic. I mean, it's hundreds of stories tall. Like, at one point, the cops have to go down to the bottom floor to like talk to the engineer, Rebecca Ferguson, and they're like, "It took us all day to get down here, so make it worth our
We're
while."
gonna take a nap.
Yeah, it's like they had to walk. I don't know how they were walking back up it, but the story is that you can't go outside or you'll die, and that's the one rule: is you can't say, "I want to go out."
Like, you'll
'Cause
die
if-
instantly.
Well, yeah, it's kind of one of the they show you someone going out.
Is this a weekly, or is it all
I think
out there
there's
already?
3 out there, so it must be weekly. So
Right.
yeah, it's fun. Oh well, it's not fun. It's interesting.
Who's in it again?
Rashida Jones,
yeah.
Rebecca Ferguson, and I'm blanking on this. Oh, Will
Wheaton.
Tim Robbins. Tim Robbins is like the corporation owner or something like that. So he's in it, and Will Patton's in it. And Will Patton, the only thing I would ever know Will Patton from, he was in Armageddon. Did you ever see Armageddon? So he was in that. That's it though. Everybody else is kind of not that I'm aware of anybody I know. So
Rashida Jones, I know. The douche.
the douche. Well, that's Nick Kroll, right? The douche on
He is
Parks and Rec.
He is the
Yeah.
douche.
Rashida Jones is so hot.
I like her.
Connor said you were going to say that. I was going to try and say something mean about her, but I like her.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
she's
just called her
Yeah,
a
she's
douche.
nice. Yeah.
Parks and Rec with her and Aubrey Plaza.
I got no anything else to talk about on this one. So, did you
Yeah,
have anything else you watched? You said no. How about you? Anything else?
I had a lot of time this
Another
week
Korean
because
one.
the Knicks and the Devils both got.
I'll try to
eliminated
get
from the
better
playoffs.
for more for the
So
next
the other
week,
day,
yeah.
hang on. The other day,
Oh yeah, tell your story.
the other
Right.
day, Daniel graduated from college. So
Congratulations, Danny.
Yeah, so we were
We'll be on
all-
the podcast soon.
hopefully, because he graduated college, so now he moves back home. That'll be awesome. 22 years old, moved back home, and my mom and I were watching the Today Show because we were home and it was like 8:30, and I'm watching the Today Show. Now, the Today Show after like the first half hour becomes like just a nonsensical
Don't they have like all different hosts coming in?
Yeah, and it's all about like, let's talk about the prettiest flower and garbage like that. So, not the Hoda Copy won the Webby for her podcast, and my mom looks at me and she's like, "Are you up for any podcast awards?" I was like, "Are you insane?" I was like, "Really? Are you crazy?" And she's like, "But why wouldn't you be?" I was like, "Well, first of all, we have to have."
She thinks we're good.
People listen to our podcast. She doesn't even listen to it. And I've downloaded the app on her phone like 3 times. I was like, here it is right here.
Stop deleting the app, Mom.
Like, it's right here. All you have to do is like every week there's going to be a little red 1. Click on that and that'll be us. So it was just so funny how she was like, oh, you should be up for that. I was like, well, maybe we'll nominate Brian since he gets us these cool arms for our mics and stuff like that.
It's so nice being able to see you guys.
Oh.
You look pretty.
So it was just so funny how my mom just thought because we do a podcast, we should be nominated for a
That was
Webby.
nice of her, though.
I was like, do you know how many podcasts there are? Do you know how
There's
many?
literally millions.
There are millions. There are 500,000 podcasts out there probably doing movies of 1983. We're just not aware of them.
But we're doing them better.
Although we were the only Love Boat podcast.
I looked at
that's true.
our thing on Apple the other day, and like the comments, and one of the comments, it was like Joy. I don't know who that, Joi or something, whatever their name was, Jolli, something like that. It was something weird. I don't know. Like you could tell who the other people were. Dan was one. And,
Anthony.
Yeah. And they talked about how they loved watching the Love Boat. They started watching it along with us, and
We let them down.
Yeah.
And Kevin, sorry, that's all my fault. I let them all down.
I was fine going on with the Love Boat. I think you were too.
Yeah, I like the Love Boat.
Watch the 1983 movies along with us. Like watch Octopussy before you listen to the
Why don't
next
you
podcast.
make another threat to get people to listen to our podcast?
Fucking
now?
listen to Octopussy,
Yeah,
man.
listen to our podcast all the time. We want to do this all the time for you people.
Do we want to do this as a full-time job?
Yes.
That would be so nice. I would weigh 700 pounds.
We have to make a lot of money.
Yeah. To pay all 3 of our salaries.
I think we could. I mean, you look at some of the money that these podcasters get out there.
I mean, it's not that much. I mean, like people do GoFundMe's and they raise like $70,000 for, I stubbed my toe. We should just do a GoFundMe every year and say, here it is.
Fund us.
Fund us for the year.
We're a bunch
and
of underprivileged.
then we put that money in the kitty, and then all the equipment we buy, all the stuff,
We're a bunch of
get our Patreon
underprivileged
started.
white.
We'd be able to put out extra
Suburbans.
episodes so we can have our Patreon going. Our Patreon will be huge.
Yeah.
I listen to a podcast called Are You Garbage right now, and it's just 2 guys from Philly. One's like 30 something, the other's in his 40s. They're both comedians, but at the same time, all they do is have people come in and they ask them questions if they're trashy, classy, or trashy. And a lot of time they're garbage. These comedians and these celebrities come in, they're garbage.
Did they get any big celebrities?
Yeah, they've had some big comedians in there. Yes, check it. Are You Garbage?
Oh
They had
my-
Louis C.K. in.
My podcast app is
It's
it's so full.
It's really good though.
Do you need this piece?
Oh, yeah.
I would check. I would add that to your podcast, and I would also add Spreaker and everywhere else. Download this podcast, Andy. Listen to this podcast.
Aren't the minis fun? We talk about nonsense. We make fun of Brian's Korean bullshit.
Exciting and new podcast on all the socials. Message us, do all that fun stuff. It's been a mini podcast. It's the Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. I'm Jason.
Listen, I'm not going to keep putting this out here. If you don't start messaging me, I'm going to stop saying it's AEGonzo1 on Twitter, AEGonzo1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
With nothing to say.
And no one ever messages him ever. He's a terrible person.